I'm going to show you how to make a boutique bow. For this bow, I've chosen 1.5 inch thick ribbon, and I've cut it to 29 inches. This will make a bigger 4-inch bow. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay out your ribbon on your measuring mat, and you're going to bring the corner down to 5 inches. Now we'll have measurements for other size bows in the manual for you to reference, but for this bow, these are the measurements. Okay, so once you've got the end of your ribbon down to the 5-inch mark, you're going to bring your ribbon back around to the 6. So that's 1 inch bigger. And you're going to make sure it's all lined up and flat, and then you're going to loop it around the back, keeping it all lined up, and then you're going to bring this around. Make sure that you've got 6 inches of ribbon that you're working with, and you're going to take a straight pin and you're going to put it at the 3-inch mark. And this is going to ensure that you have a symmetrical bow. Okay, so you put it through all of the layers, and then you're going to pull the sides out to make the loops of your bow. And this requires some practice, so that's a good thing that we've got our safety pin in the middle, because that gives you some room to work with it. And then, to help us, instead of pinching our bow, this time we're going to sew our bow. Okay? So we're going to take our pin out, and making sure that we're still holding it, we're going to put our clamp into that position. Okay, now here you still have some wiggle room, so you want to make sure that it's in the center, and you can do that by measuring. And then you're going to take your ribbon, and this is going to give you your straight line for how to sew. You're going to start on the outside. So make sure that you have just a little bit of space down, and you're just going to weave your needle through. I'm weaving my finger through. I'm going to check in the back to make sure it's gone through all of the layers. And with this, if you find that it's easier to do the pinching, you can go ahead and do the pinching. And then we're going to bring it up one last time. You might even want to get a thimble for this. But you want to make sure that you're on the outside when you end. So you want just a little bit of fabric left on the outside as well. And at this point you can take your clamp off because you've finished with the sewing part. And you're going to scrunch your bow, pull your needle through, and then you're going to wrap it around. Once you've wrapped it around a few times, you can start scrunching your bow some more, and then you're going to take your needle and through the back, you're going to go through where you just stitched, and this is going to help keep your thread in place. Okay, it's a lot stronger than just doing a knot. Okay, so I usually stitch it through a few times. Some people stop there, but I like to do just one more knot just to make sure that it's in place. Then you're going to take your scissors, snip it, and you've got your bow. Now I've already heat sealed my edges, and I decided to go for just a corner cut this time. You can play around with your loops and get them adjusted however you'd like them to look. Some people like to use some fabric spray to get their loops to stay stiff, and with this You're going to do the same thing. Put a little dab of glue on the back. Attach your clip. And we're going to do your basic knot. And remember the awareness ribbon. Okay, that'll make sure that you've got it right. And you're going to take the ribbon that's on top, the layer that's on top, and loop it through and pull it straight through. And then you've got a pretty knot on this side. You might just want to straighten up the tails of the remaining ribbon. Add a little dab of glue on the back part where it's smooth. And this is a pretty tight knot, so I wouldn't worry as much about getting the glue on the other parts because it's a pretty tight knot. Make sure you get it in the center. And we're going to pinch open the bow, the clip. Bring up the last tail, snip it, and we're not going to worry as much about this end because we're going to cover it up by the other end. And I always like to pre-measure with the last loop. I cut the tail off first, and then I get my lighter, and I'm going to heat seal my end to prevent fraying, especially when you're getting it in the hair. You don't want your ribbon to fray. And then you finish it off. You can always pull off the remaining hot glue that gets left behind, and then you can shape your bow, and you've got your boutique bow.